Hi, everybody. It's been quite a while since I did anything as far as scripture with you, and I thought today that I would bring you just, I guess, something short. I don't know how short it'll be, but I just wanted to share this with you. If you hear some noise in the background, it's because the dogs are still kind of running around a little bit, and Alvin is laying on the bed with me, and he gets a little fresh when he thinks people are coming too close. So, what I'm doing tonight is I'm reading from the book of Wisdom, and I'm in chapter one, the end of chapter one, and I will then go into chapter two a little bit. And it just amazes me how this book was written so long ago, but it applies to the society that we live in today. And once I read this to you, you'll understand what I'm speaking of. You should be able to connect the dots. So let me get started. So the Book of Wisdom, right now I'm reading towards the end of chapter 1. And it's chapter 1 speaks about on seeking God and rejecting evil, and how God knows our hearts. He knows our innermost being. He listens to the words we speak. So we have to be very conscious about what we speak, how we speak to others or about others. And we have to ask him to create a clean heart in us, because all of us, it doesn't matter who we are, have a propensity for sin and evil just like anyone else against others. So where I am here is I'm going to start in chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "Beware then of complaining about nothing, and keep your tongue from finding fault, since the most secret word will have repercussions, and a lying mouth deals death to the soul. Do not court death by the errors of your ways, nor invite destruction through your own actions. Death was not God's doing. He takes no pleasure in the extinction of the living. To be, for this he created all. The world's created things have health in them. In them no fatal poison can be found, and Hades holds no power on earth, for virtue is undying. But the godless call with deed and word for death. Counting him friend, they wear themselves out for him. With him they make a pact, and are fit to be his partners." Now, I'm going to start with chapter 2. And as I'm reading to you chapter 2, I want you to think about the society that we're living in today. Chapter 2. "For they say to themselves," now Wisdom is talking about the godless and the pact that they make with the devil. "For they say to themselves, with their misguided reasoning, our life is short and dreary, nor is there any relief when man's end comes, nor is anyone known who can give release from Hades. By chance we came to birth, and after this life we shall be as if we had never been. The breath in our nostrils is a puff of smoke, reason a spark from the beating of our hearts. Put this out, and our body turns to ashes, and the spirit melts away like idle air." Now, if you listen to that right there, that tells you that people who think like this have no hope, no faith. I will continue. "In time, our name will be forgotten. Nobody will remember what we have done. Our life will pass away like wisps of cloud, dissolve like the mist that the sun's rays drive away, and the heat of it overwhelms. Yes, our days are the passing of a shadow. From our death there is no turning back. The seal is set, no one returns. Come then, let us enjoy what good things there are. Use this creation with the zest of youth. Take our fill of the dearest wines and perfumes. Let no one flower of springtime pass us by. Before they wither, crown ourselves with roses. Let none of us forego his part in our orgy. Let us leave the signs of our revelry everywhere. This is our portion, this the lot assigned to us. As for the virtuous man who is poor, let us oppress him, let us not spare the widow, nor respect old age, white-haired with many years. Let our strength be the yardstick of virtue, since weakness argues its own futility. Let us lie in wait for the virtuous man, since he annoys us and opposes our way of life, reproaches us for our breaches of the law, and accuses us of playing false to our upbringing. He claims to have knowledge of God and calls himself a son of the Lord. Before us he stands, a reproof to our way of thinking. The very sight of him weighs our spirits down. His way of life is not like other men's. The paths he treads are unfamiliar. In his opinion, we are counterfeit. He holds aloof from our doings as though from filth. He proclaims the final end of the virtuous is happy, and boasts of having God for his Father. Let us see if what he says is true. Let us observe what kind of end he himself will have. If the virtuous man is God's son, God will take his part and rescue him from the clutches of his enemies. Let us test him with cruelty and with torture, and thus explore this gentleness of his, and put his endurance to the proof. Let us condemn him to a shameful death, since he will be looked after. We have his word for it. So that is almost the complete chapter 2. There's a few more verses left. Excuse me, I was taking a drink. Oh, goodness, sorry. So, if you see what's happening here, this is how the godless people think. They take advantage of everything. They exploit everything, especially the most vulnerable, the weakest. And if you look at our society today, that's exactly how people are living. They are taking advantage of the most vulnerable in our society. And those are the unborn, the poor, the sick, the elderly, the disabled. We're in their way. And especially those of us who are Christian and love God and know that God is our Father and know that this life, we have hope in this life. And our hope lies in Jesus Christ. And that when we leave this life, it's not the end. They despise the types of people I just said to you, and they despise Christians because they are all about cruelty and debauchery because they have no hope. They think that this life is it, that this life doesn't offer them anything, and when it's over, that's it. They're done, they're dead, they're forgotten about. There's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no God, there's nothing. So while they're here, they're going to fulfill their debauchery and their sinful appetites, and they're just going to step all over people, and they're going to torture people and kill people. And why not? Because there's no consequence. And that's very, very sad. Those are the children of Satan. Now, how this ends is the godless are gravely mistaken. The end of this chapter 2 goes on to say, "This is the way they reason, but they are misled. Their malice makes them blind." How many of us are watching today in our own society, in our own government, the malice in these people that are supposed to be running our government, that the malice that they have for, and I'm talking about the left, okay? Yeah, I said it, the left. They have malice towards any of us who hold God and our Lord Jesus Christ above everything and who live our lives according to the Lord. They hate us. They want to destroy us. They will destroy some of us. They want us gone. And if they could kill us, they probably would. That's just the way they live. And that is what we are facing today. But they are sadly mistaken. They actually really need our prayers because they are going to hell. So let's continue. "This is the way they reason, but they are misled. Their malice makes them blind. They do not know the hidden things of God. They have no hope that holiness will be rewarded. They can see no reward for blameless souls. Yet God did not make man imperishable. He made him in the image of his own nature. It was the devil's envy that brought death into the world, and those who are his partners, will discover. So what wisdom is saying here is what I've already said to you. These people have no hope. They don't believe in God. They want nothing to do with God. They have no faith. They are partners of Satan. And if they continue on this path that they're taking, they will end up in hell, because that's where they belong, with their father, the father of lies. And it amazes me how this book was written so many centuries. It's so ancient that it applies to everything that we're living in today. So that's the last part of the first chapter and the entire chapter 2 of the Book of Wisdom. And it's just, I sat here and I read it, and I thought to myself, I'm so grateful that God has given me faith. And I said to him, I'm not saying that because I don't want to be like that Pharisee who was walking and looked down on people and stopped in the midst of the people and made sure that he was seen and raised his head and his arms to God and thanked God that he was not like, the person standing next to him that was this lowly, poor person who had nothing. That there is just complete pride. I am just truly, truly grateful in my heart that Jesus gave me the gift of faith. He gave me the gift of loving him from a young child. I would say probably around 9 years of age, because that was when I first truly knew who Jesus was, that he loved me, that I belonged to him, and that I belonged in his church. It was a very amazing encounter. I don't know if I've ever shared that with you all, but if you would like to hear about it, let me know and I will share it with you. I didn't grow up in a very religious household, and that's a whole other story too, but I can share that and the encounter that I had with Jesus when I was a 9-year-old little girl that set me on the path for the rest of my life. And if you want to hear about those things, again, let me know and I will share that with you. So, I just wanted to share this with you, and I also wanted to say to you, Christians, don't give up. We live in very trying times right now. We live in very bleak times right now. But remember, God is the light of the world. The Lord is the light of the world. And it doesn't matter how dark it gets. He will always overcome the darkness. He is our hope. Hang on to him. Don't let anything in our society, anything in our government, do not let it destroy your hope. Because no matter how bad things can get, and if we look back through history, they can get pretty, pretty terrible. He will always be our hope, and he will always overcome the darkness. Maybe not in the ways that we think he should, or in the time span that we think he should, because remember, God's ways are not our ways, and God's time is not our time. But he will always overcome the darkness. He will always have the victory. And as long as we hang on to him, and we keep close to him, and we hang tightly onto him and to his words, we will always have the gift of hope. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you did, and if you would like to hear more. Thank you for listening, and I will speak with you soon. God bless you.